Hello and welcome one and all. Welcome to the writing classroom. I am so delighted you are here, and together we are going to craft the most wonderful sentences to build a story across the whole globe. Oh, I'm so proud of you for showing up. We are an enormous classroom, actually, with many people here who are ready to write. Together, we are going to be jolly jotters. We are going to build super sentences so that our writing is absolutely remarkable. And I'm going to let you know it is not easy in this classroom. Sometimes it's tricky and sometimes it's hard. And it's like that because we don't want learning to be easy. We want it to challenge us and we want to get better. And let me tell you, you're in safe hands. You're with me, your writing teacher, and my name is Mrs. C. And together with English with Mrs. C, you are going to be the very best writer that you can be. Now, if you've not worked with me before, sometimes it is a little bit difficult, but over time, I'll ensure that your writing begins to sparkle and shine, and I'm on the lookout all the time for those writers around the country and across the world who can really impress me with their writerly choices. Oh, I'm so excited. In fact, I'm zinging with excitement. We are going to be working with a wonderful book today, and we together are going to take control of the work we produce. Okay, we have a little jingle. Some of you know this jingle already because you work at it in school. Some of you, it's new. And this is important for today because I am a fan of the lickety split. I am the fan of working quite quick. Here we go. Pens up. Think at pace. Jot quick. Writing's ace. And there is going to be times today when I'm going to ask you to be really speedy in your writing, but be brave and try your best. Okay, now I'm going to talk about time. Time is going to be really precious and important. In fact, time is so precious, we have to think about how we're going to use it. And there's going to be 3 important times for you as the learner. Number 1, the first time is really short and it's only 45 seconds. And when our lesson starts, I might ask you to jot words, jot ideas, and jotting is a really short amount of time. If you're with a grown-up, you can chat and jot, and we call this chotting. If you're with other people in your bubble, you can chat to them. But don't worry if you're on your own, because you can jot. And you can, like me, talk to yourself and say words out loud. That is your chance to shine, the jot. Also in this lesson, we're going to be doing something called audit and add. And that is where Mrs. C will show you her words. And you look at your list, and if you like any of my words, you can borrow them. I say audit them because you might have a word that's the same as mine and you can tick it off. But audit and add is a chance to take any words that you like that I've written down. And then the next important time is 3 minutes. 3 minutes is longer than you think. I don't want anybody to panic, and that is when I'm asking for your writing ideas. I'm going to be doing some modelling, and what I want you to use is that frame of writing to come up with your own ideas. So now we've got that sorted out, the times of the lesson, we can get started. Okay. Oh, actually, before we get started, a really important message is this. Every day, I'm going to be choosing one child's writing from around the globe, and they are going to feature on my celebration wall. That might be you. I will always take into account how old you are and how much bravery and risk-taking and writerly choices, how you've thought about your words really carefully. I'm on the lookout every day for really impressive writers, and I would love you to share your work with me. I need you to get in contact via Twitter or Facebook and make sure you include your name and your age. And then you can hashtag it English with Mrs. C, and I will find it. And a grown-up can help you with that. Okay, this is the first part of getting ready for writing. I need you to make sure you've got a pencil or a pen, and I don't mind if you work in a book or on paper. I don't mind if it's got lines or it's plain. If you've got a book, then you'll be working on your first double-page spread like this. And we are going to be doing some thinking and jotting on this side and writing on this side. If you haven't got a book, don't worry, you can work on paper like this. And I need you to fold that paper in half, and I'm going to give you 30 seconds in a moment to get ready. And on the thinking side, which is the left side, I want you to create some writing space like that. I'm going to put an image now for you to copy so that you have on your thinking side created 6 small spaces like this, so you have got a chance to make some word bank jottings. 30 seconds on the clock now to get your book or paper ready. Okay, what Mrs. C is going to do now is take you into the story a little bit deeper. I am going to tell the story that's going to be the focus of our writing. We're going to be working together for 9 lessons, and this is our first lesson. I'm going to story tell the story so it comes to life. And our story is The Secret of Black Rock. So let's now get you into this story. Erin Pike lived with her mum and her dog Archie near a big fishing town, and many people in the community worked on the boats. It was always busy near the shoreline. Erin was always captivated by the sea, and every day she felt drawn to it. She longed to go out to the sea, but it was too dangerous because of the legend of Black Rock. She couldn't remember a time before she heard about this, and everybody around where she lived talked about it all the time. Every fisherman and fisherwoman had a scary story to tell. It never stays in the same place, and it could smash a boat to pieces. It's as big as a mountain and as sharp as a swordfish. But Erin wasn't scared. She wasn't scared one bit. It just made her more intrigued about the wonders of the sea. And every day she would hide on her mum's fishing boat. And every day Archie, her dog, would sniff her out. At night, she would wait for her mum's safe return, and under the moonlight she would dream about one day getting out to sea, because she hoped that she could catch a glimpse of the mysterious black rock. One day, Erin came up with a very, very smelly plan to outsmart Archie's nose. And at the same time, her mum was far too busy to notice that Erin was on board. What an exciting story so far. We now are going to take on the writing. I'm going to be your writing teacher, and we're going to work together to build our plot and weave steps to success into our work. Okay, so what we're going to do now is actually look at this narrative map. We can see that Erin is our central character, and I have already told you the story up until this point, and we are just here. And this is going to be plot point 1. And every day we're going to slowly reveal another point on our story map. But now we're thinking about our first part of our story. Okay, this is the picture I want you to look at really closely. I want you to notice that Erin and Archie are on the boat. I want you to also notice that Mum hasn't seen them, but the sky has suddenly changed. A fog has descended and it is extremely murky and hazy. Suddenly, it is very dangerous on this boat. Okay, what I need you to do for me today, and I'm going to help you do this, is to weave certain things into your writing. I'm going to be your teacher, so don't worry about it. Our first step to success is going to be all about including time, phrases and clauses. Don't worry if you don't know about these symbols. You'll get to know them as I teach you over the coming weeks. And then I'm also going to teach you about comparative and superlative adjectives, making adjectives more intense, pushing them to extremities. And the third thing we're going to look at is the sense of sight, putting the central character at the heart of the story and what they can see and notice. Oh, you're doing ever so well with your listening, everybody. But now I need you to think about your writing. Make sure you've got a pen or a pencil and you're ready to think at pace. Okay. All of my thinking is on this image of the fog. And I want to tell the reader, and I can use phrases or clauses, I want to tell the reader when this is happening, what time of day this is happening, and time for setting the scene is going to be really important. My first idea about a time phrase is going to be this. During, that's a really good introduction to a time phrase. During the, I could say afternoon, but I think I'm going to say late afternoon. During the late afternoon. That's my first idea. I think another good idea would be before dusk. I'm going to write that down. Before dusk. Before dusk. You know, when the sun sets. I could also think about clauses, and clauses have verbs in them, but they can still introduce time. What about when the sun lowered in the sky? Oh, I like that. When the sun lowered in the sky. That's a good idea, Mrs. C. What about a clause that begins with as? Let me write that down. Thank you for those children who are watching, because I'm going to ask you to come up with your ideas soon. As the day started to draw in. What's really interesting here, because I've got lowered and started, I can see they've got verbs in, so they're clauses. I've got 4 ideas. I'm going to write down this word to help you. After. That might give you a clue. In fact, I'm going to show you some clues that you can borrow here. After. That could help you. Before could help you. As soon as. That's a good place to start. And while. What I'd like you to do now is to have all of your own thinking as I put on 45 seconds of jot time. This is your time to shine, writers. Off you go. Oh, it's not long, is it? I told you we were very lickety-split, but thank you for thinking. We get a second look at these words, phrases and clauses, so don't worry. We are now going to audit and add. And what that means is I'm going to put some time on the clock and I'm going to leave my ideas on the screen. And you can look at your ideas. And if you like any, you can borrow them. Or you might look at them and think, after several hours, oh, I had that. Yes, and I'm going to tick it off. You might look at yours and think, oh, I had before evening came, and I'm going to tick it off. Or if you've got, or you see an idea that you've not got, you can add it on. Okay, everybody, we have 1 minute 30 seconds to add more, change and borrow. Off you go. Okay, everybody, we are now moving to our second word bank, and we need words in our vocabulary vault. So we've got lots of choices. We might not use all of these words, of course, but let's think about our options. That's why it's worth investing now in thinking in the wonder of words. Okay, so I want to think about the fog. And when we place fog in stories, it can descend down or it can rise up. And often in really foggy situations at sea, both of those things happen. So I'm now thinking about verbs. Verbs to put the fog into our story. And I need these verbs in the past tense. Now, if it's a regular verb, it will end in ed. And the most common verbs are regular and they do end in ed. But we can have past tense verbs that are irregular, that don't end in ed. And I need to think about that. So the first word, the first verb I'm going to choose to talk about the fog is emerged. The fog emerged. A bit like appeared, but a little bit more grown up and writerly. I like it. I like appeared actually as well, but I'm going to write down emerged. I'm also going to write down the fog materialised. That's quite a long word. I'm going to be a brave speller. Materialised. And sometimes, just to be aware that a lot of spellings are different around the world, and often in America they put a Z there, but I'm going to put an S, materialised. And this is an interesting one because this is a past tense verb that's just popped into my head. But it's not regular, but it is in the past tense. The fog rose. Oh, they're my three ideas. The fog emerged. The fog materialised. The fog rose. Oh, the fog enveloped and drifted and appeared. Oh, there's lots of words I'm thinking of now. I'm going to put 45 seconds on the clock. Can you add 3 more words to that list? Off you go. Okay, so what we're going to do now is audit and add. We're going to look at our list. I was getting excited and one's just popped into my head, so I'm going to write it down now. Drifted. I want you to look at my list. I'm going to leave this on the screen, and if you've got it, tick it off. If you haven't got it and you like it, you can borrow it. Go on, audit and adders. Oh, I'm ever so proud of you. You're working quickly and really well. Now we are going to move to writing side, and you are going to watch Mrs. C do two things today. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the written words for the beginning part of the story. You don't need to copy them. You don't need to worry about them. I've taken the storytell and put it into words, and I'm going to read you that so it takes us up to our first plot point. And then the second thing you're going to watch me do is do some demonstration writing. You're going to see two things at once. You're going to see my writerly ideas, and you're going to look inside my mind. You're going to see the writer's brain and my out loud thinking as I craft and construct a sentence. You'll see me change my mind, and I will be nervous about spelling, but I'm going to be brave and have a go because I can check that later. Okay, so first things first, on the writing side, this is already in your story. Don't worry about this. You don't need to copy it. Erin lived near a big fishing town and longed to go out to sea on a boat with her mum. Everyone told her it was too dangerous because of the legend of Black Rock. One day, she sneaked out onto the boat without her mum noticing, and it set off with her on board. That is already part of our communal story. Now, you are going to take some time to watch Mrs. C do some writing. But as you watch, you're thinking, I don't want to copy Mrs. C. There might be the odd word I want to borrow. I might want to add more than Mrs. C. I mustn't plot push. I must stay on the moment of the fog near the boat. But watch closely and look at your word bank. And I'm going to give you some writing time to do your own in a moment. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start with a time phrase or a time clause. And I like all of mine. I particularly like the ones that start with as the day started to draw in, as soon as the sun descended. I'm definitely going to start with an as. This means I'm starting with a time clause. As the daylight faded, I like that. As the daylight faded. I could have as the daylight subsided. I'm going to change it. They're both good, but I like that. As the daylight subsided. And then I'm going to put in a comma because I'm going to separate off that clause. And then I need to introduce the fog as a writer. A fog. Oh, I could put an adjective before the fog. A dark fog, a mysterious fog. I'm going to think about that. A fog appeared. And I'm going to place it. A fog appeared all around. Yes, I'm going to place it in the environment. As the daylight subsided, a fog appeared all around. I like all around, all consuming, all enveloping. Okay, my remarkable writers, I know your writing is going to be precise and beautifully descriptive. I am going to put 3 minutes on the clock. I'm going to leave my writing here so you can lean on it and borrow ideas, but I know many of you are ready to come up with your own. Off you go. Okay, we're going to move to our next learning chunk, and we're going to have a different step to success to illuminate our thinking. So we are in learning chunk 2, word bank 1, and I want to think about adjectives. Adjectives to describe the fog. I want them to be quite sad face, negative adjectives, because this is quite dangerous out there now, out to sea. I've got some really good ideas already, and I want to share them with you. They're all words to describe fog, and actually there's some I've not even included. So let's have a look at these words. Here we go. Thick fog. Dark fog. Dull fog. Heavy fog. Murky fog. Misty fog. Wow, there's some really good words there. I've just thought of hazy as well, and I haven't written that down. Oh, look at this. Impenetrable fog, opaque fog, and fuliginous fog. Oh, look at that word, fuliginous. That means hazy, really hazy. Now, I want to show you how to build a comparative adjective. And this is where we turn something up, we increase its intensity. And we can do it in certain ways. Watch here, and then I want you to have a go. So, thick. I can turn the adjective thick into a comparative. I can increase it by writing down thicker. I can add er onto the end of that. If I take the word heavy, it's really hard in English spelling to add er if it ends in y, because it doesn't build a correct spelling. So we've got to take away the y, we've got to change it for an I, and then we can add the er, heavier. And often when adjectives are a little bit longer, we add the word more before the word. Look at this, more impenetrable. What I'd like to do now, Jotters, with 45 seconds on the clock, and we're going to leave these words up here. I would like you to turn those adjectives into comparatives. Off you go. Okay, you're going to have some more time because I know that was quite short. And this time we're going to audit and add. Mrs. C is going to show you the ones she's done. But I'd be really interested in audit and add time. Can you take a new word like hazy that's not on the list and turn it into a comparative? Off you go, everybody. Do you know what's really interesting about adjectives is that we as a writer have a lot of control over the intensity of what we're writing about. And I want you to look over here. This is where the fog begins, and it is thick. As we move down and the fog increases, our adjective can increase with a comparative. We can say, this is thicker. And as we move further into maximum level, we can say, this is the thickest. So we go from thick, thicker, thickest. And that is a really good way to take a lot of control over your writing. Now, I'm going to show you how you can get to this maximum level through what we call superlatives. And they are super. I'm glad they've got the word super at the front because they are supercharged turbo maximum level. Okay, let's see how we move from thick, thicker. I'm going to write that down. You add est to thick, thickest. When you get to heavy, you again change the Y to an I and we write heaviest. When we want to take more impenetrable, higher, very difficult to get through, to penetrate, we actually use the word most. It was most impenetrable, very difficult to navigate. Okay. I'm going to leave that on the page now for 45 seconds and you're going to jot. I want to see how many superlatives you can make by adding est, changing a Y to an I and adding est, or dropping the word most before your adjective. Off you go, jotters. What we're going to do now is Mrs. C is going to share her word bank. This is your chance to audit and add, and I think you're going to be great at this. I think there's going to be lots of ticks where you can go, yeah, I got darkest. Yes, I got murkiest. It also gives you time to finish and add more. Off you go. Okay, great work. You are really speeding up, and I love it when you check your work like I had to there, looking at spellings, making it better. We really want to be the best writers that we can be. Okay, Mrs. C is now moving to writing side. You're going to look inside the writer's brain, and I'm going to make some writerly choices. I want to build this idea of repetition and intensity, and I'm going to layer from an adjective to a comparative to a superlative. And look how it builds up. Okay. I want to talk about the fog. The fog was thick. The fog was thick. Nice and short, but placing the adjective into the story. Then I'm going to use a comparative. The fog was thicker. Now I like how I've got a structure to repeat there, but I don't want to bore the reader. So I'm going to look here at this word. Can I change it just to make it more interesting? The fog became thicker. The fog grew thicker. Oh, I like that. I'm going to put in grew thicker. I now want to push to a superlative. So I'm going to use this word. I've got to stay in the past tense as well. The fog was the thickest, and I'm going to add some more on the end to make it interesting. The fog was the thickest she have ever, oh, that's not right. In terms of tense, the fog was the thickest she had, yeah, you've got to be really careful with tense, she had ever seen. I think I'm going to change that to experienced. Oh, I like that. I'm going to read it back. The fog was thick. The fog grew thicker. The fog was the thickest she had ever experienced. I'm going to put 3 minutes on the clock now. I'm going to leave my writing there. I want you to use it like a structure and a frame, but I want you to come up with your own ideas. Off you go, remarkable writers. bet you're so proud of your writing. You're thinking really carefully about it. That's excellent. We are now moving to learning chunk 3 and we're in the first word bank, and I want to think about adverbs. I want to think about how adverbs, how things are happening, and I want to gather adverbs that end in ly. And what we're actually going to do is gather adverbs about speed, how quick something is happening, and that actually a situation is worsening. In fact, this adverb we're going to use before the word worsened. I'm going to use my shadeometer to help me actually. And this is where I can do thesaurus thinking. I can gather words in the same word family, the synonyms. And I'm going to think about some speed words that end in ly. And I'm thinking about instantaneously. Oh, that's quite a long word, Mrs. C. Don't get tricked at how to spell it. Instantaneously. Oh, I'm going to be brave. I can check that in a moment. Another speed word ending in ly. Swiftly. That's a good one. Not a lot of people know this word, the one I'm thinking of next. Expeditiously. Expeditiously. Now, what I'd like you to do, and I'd like you to have a go at doing this in your first word bank side. I'm going to leave those 3 ideas on the screen, but I think you can add more to this list. Off you go, jotters. Oh, you're getting really quick at that. I'm so proud of you. Right, we're going to go straight into an audit and add. You can look at Mrs. C's words and you can tick them. You might have a word that I haven't got. I bet you have. Off you go now. Tick means you've got it. If you like it, you can borrow it. Off you go. Okay, we are moving now to our final and last word bank in Learning Chunk 3. And I want to build now a clause about actually how Erin feels, or actually some of the things she can see or not see. I'm going to be thinking about a negative clause, and I'm going to be thinking about the sense of sight and feelings. I'm going to look at these two words, actually, was and felt, for my ideas. Erin was the sense of sight. Well, it's a strange one, really, because she can't see. She's almost blinded by the fog. Well, that's a good idea, actually. Erin was blinded by the fog. I could add in an adjective there. Was blinded by the dull fog, the dense fog, the dark fog. I like dense. Erin was blinded by the dense fog. I'm going to look at this next word, felt. Erin felt. The fog slither around her. Felt tentacles. Oh, that's a bit scary, isn't it? Tentacles of fog slither. I'm going to be really precise now. Instead of around her, because I've used that already, felt tentacles of fog slither on her neck. They're my two ideas. Jotters, I'm going to give you could not, and I'm going to give you struggled. I wonder if you can think of a way to finish that clause. Erin could not. Erin struggled. Off you go, Jotters. Well done. We're going to move straight to an audit and add. You're going to see Mrs. C's ideas, and it's a chance to make your ideas better or borrow one of mine. Okay, Erin was blinded by the dense fog. Erin felt tentacles of fog slither on her neck. Erin could not see through the swirling fog. Erin struggled to see through the dark veil. Can you add another one now in audit and add? Off you Okay, straight to right inside, looking inside my brain. I'm going to use all of my ideas, my adverbs, my clauses, and put them together. I've just finished that repetition for effect, the fog comparative, the fog superlative. And now I want to talk about how it has worsened. The fog worsened. But I've used the fog a lot, so I'm not going to use that. The weather, I could use that instead. The weather worsened. There's something really alliterative about that. I quite like it. But I want to start in a different way. The reader knows I'm talking about the fog, so I'm going to just write it and use that to reference the fog. It, rapidly worsened. It hastily worsened. It swiftly worsened. That's what I'm going to use. It swiftly worsened, put it into the past tense, until. Oh, I've remembered. This is a common mistake that writers make. They think until has got two L's. You're not going to catch me out on that. It swiftly worsened until Erin could not see past her nose. Could not see past, it's that type of past. Could not see past the end of her nose. The end of her nose. It sounds a bit chatty though. She could not see past the end of her nose. I'm going to change that for a different word. A bit more writerly. Erin could not see beyond the end of her nose. Remarkable writers. I don't think you need long for this, but I'm going to put 3 minutes on the clock. Tomorrow, we might speed it up a little bit more. Off you go. Oh, you superstars, you've really worked your socks off. Oh, you've come here to get better, and you will get better. Let's read what we've constructed so far. I'm going to read mine and you can read yours in a moment. And you'll be very proud of what you've done. Here we go. Erin lived near a big fishing town and longed to go out to sea on a boat with her mum. Everyone told her it was too dangerous because of the legend of Black Rock. One day, she sneaked onto the boat without her mum noticing, and it set off with her on board. And as the daylight subsided, a fog appeared all around. The fog was thick. The fog grew thicker. The fog was the thickest she had ever experienced. It swiftly worsened until Erin could not see beyond the end of her nose. Well, my gorgeous super sentence stackers, I want you to take a really clear photograph of your writing. You can get an adult to help you, and I need your name, your year, and hashtag it English with Mrs. C. And I cannot wait. In fact, I am zinging with excitement to read your work. I'm going to leave you soon, but tomorrow, same time, same place, come and meet me in the classroom to become the very best writer you can be.